Ladies and gentlemen, we got a disaster today. We got a disaster that has happened here on Twitter. So I was minding my own business, working on a separate project, killing some time, and then I came across this Twitter thread by Alice _Rovi, and it says a thread signed an angry artist, #no AI, and I was like, ooh, this is juicy. The title says how I got replaced with AI by a friend, and this is a good story, and there's a lot to this story, so strap in. It gets pretty wild here. And she writes, in 2016, I met a movie director and screenwriter who asked me to make my first ever short animated movie. Okay, I was younger and excited, so even if no payment was included, I did it. It was an opportunity. Already some red flags here. We worked for more than 6 months. She was the writer and director, and I made all the drawings, and our work got some prizes. Plus, it went on national television. It was a good collaboration. I would say so. That's pretty incredible. We kept in touch. And in 2019, she proposed that I draw a graphic novel she wrote. I made the whole storyboard, more than 80 colored pages. 80? Oh my God, and some finished pages too. Our goal was to find a publisher. Nothing was paid to me, but I knew the project had good potential, and after all, I was just at the beginning of my career. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, sweetheart. That's not good. I think everyone's been in this situation where we've done, free work for a project that we believed in, but looking back on my career, probably wouldn't have done this one. Anyway, she continues, I myself went to meet a publisher in my city, but they weren't interested due to copyright issues they feared to face. In brackets, her story was heavily inspired by a famous musician. Okay, so our project went through a hiatus. I kept in touch with the writer, and she even asked me to exhibit the few finished pages at a public event in Rome. We were just waiting for its time to come. Now, as you can see, this project has legs. This project definitely has legs. It seems like it's got a lot of potential. Looks like people notice it. It got into some sort of public event or an exhibit. So there's some serious potential here. But wait, time passed, and we occasionally heard each other talking about that old project, still hoping to find it a home. For 1 year, we went quiet, until a few days ago. I looked at the storyboard I made and remembered how much potential it had. Ooh. Since our collaboration started almost 10 years ago, I've certainly improved. This is my job now, so I thought, why don't we just make it? It could become a web series, a webtoon. This girl is Alice, if you're watching this, you are the sweetest person ever. I'm so sorry for what is about to happen to you. I felt ready to give her my support and keep working on it together, letting her know there are many ways to publish a graphic novel today. So Alice is obviously really invested in this project that she did 10 years ago, man. 10 years ago, she still wants to get this done until she answered me back. And this is where the story starts to get a little off the rails. Her friend responds, so sorry, Alice. Many years have passed, so I made it by myself using AI. It's now totally done. It's incredible how good it turned out. Really? I'm about to animate the drawings and make a video out of them. AI isn't even that easy to use. You have to work on it a lot, but I made it. Kisses. There's a certain level of cluelessness that's gone on in these text messages that I really just can't comprehend. Do you think her friend felt awkward sending that message? Do you think, or was she just completely oblivious to the situation that's now started to unfold at her own hand? I'm very curious about this. I really want to know what the secondary character in this story was feeling in this moment. When she got the text message and she's been secretly working on it the whole time, she was like, ooh, shit. Forgot about her. I mean, wouldn't you at least think to let her know that you're doing it, right? Wouldn't you do that? I don't know. There's something going on here that isn't really making any sense to me. To me, it seems like she just went and tried to do this behind her back without having to, pay her. She got away with not paying her all this time for all this work that this artist has put in. So she's like, you know what? Now that she's older, she's been around doing this for 10 years. She's a pro now. I probably have to pay her. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. And then AI came around. Great. I just got to pay $20 a month for ChatGPT or whatever video generation software, and I can do that. I don't have to pay this artist. That's awesome. Sorry. Anyway, moving on here. Obviously, our friend Alice wasn't too impressed with that. First impression, delusion. Second impression, rage. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, I would be pretty upset. I would be pretty upset in this situation. Yeah, yep. Not gonna lie. That's pretty upsetting. I think just like not including her at all in the first place is just a wild decision. To even not say, hey, by the way, like I'm gonna continue working on this. Like you can jump in if you want, but I'm gonna be using AI. I don't know. Something is amiss here. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. She continues, all those years, all my dedication, my drawings, my passion, my time, my hard work, all thrown away to be replaced by fucking AI. Yeah, boy, this is not good. She continues, I replied, but my words weren't as sharp as I wanted them to be. This Alice girl seems very sweet. She texted her something along the lines of, I'm sorry to know about this. I wanted to keep working on it. I made the whole storyboard. You could at least tell me what you wanted to do, asking if I was still interested. After all, I wasn't going to work on it without your permission. Crazy concept. She replied again, but I was no longer interested in her. Well, you're right, but so much time passed. I didn't want to wait any longer. We should still do something together next year. Blah, blah, blah. Just making some excuses. Basically saying, fuck you. I don't give a shit. And it's kind of upsetting that she decided to like still say, hey, let's do something else. It's like, well, this was the thing you guys were working on. This was the thing you guys were working on. So why didn't you reach out to her for this project? So like shafting her on this project that you guys have literally been thinking about for 10 years together and working on, where she's done all the artwork on this so you could continue on with this project. Why would she want to do something else? This was the one. I'm getting upset. I'm getting heated. I'm getting upset about this. This is the one she wanted to do. Like, mad and disappointed, what I've now left is just my hand-drawn storyboard and some finished pages of a story I've been cut off from without even knowing. 20-year-old me didn't deserve this treatment. No artist does. But I won't waste all that time and work. I will some way give another life to those drawings. I owe it to myself. I have no idea if my quote-unquote friend used my drawings to make her AI stuff. Ooh, didn't even think about that. Did not think about that. She probably did. Yeah, there's a good chance. There's a good chance that happened. I can't say anything for sure. The storyboard is actually, that would kind of make sense why she didn't want to message her, because she's probably using her work and she didn't want to bring any attention to it. But that's just all allegedly here. A storyboard is a very important part of the process. It's the first step where you start to build the narrative. It's not a hobby nor secondary to the script. That's right. It is the foundations of the visual. And since I don't know what's going to happen, I will be posting my drawings just to make clear that they were made before the AI stuff she wants to make a video of. And she's posted some pictures of the drawings, and these look actually really cool. We'll see later what's going to happen. I was young and needed to find a starting point, and honestly, I trusted that person to the point a few days ago I was going to give her my experience and time again. Well, I'm glad you didn't. That's for sure. I will try not to waste those drawings and to learn some kind of lesson. Well, I think we've learned a lot of lessons here today, haven't we? Then if you feel like wanting to do something more, she has a Patreon for monthly membership and a Ko-fi. I'm really angry. Whoa, that's not good. I'm pretty anti-tech, especially when it involves removing creators, people who are putting their soul into their work. I think overall this is just a net bad thing. So this story is pretty frustrating. Yeah, let's say frustrating. So it's a pretty harrowing story. So of course it goes extremely viral on Twitter and all over other platforms. It got so viral that Sam Does Arts did a pretty good reaction to it. I definitely recommend checking out his take as well. He's a funny guy. He makes me laugh all the time. Anyway, so this thing goes turbo big dick viral all over the internet. 14 million smackers. 14 million smackers online. So obviously it popped off. And now overall the comments were generally positive. We're generally positive and supportive towards her. Ava says, saying it's hard to use is like spitting in your face. It's hard to actually make art. How about that? Dan says, tragic use case of AI. AI was supposed to take all of our mundane jobs, but it's taking all the creative ones. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts me. Mara Eventry says, I'd sue the fuck out of her. Holy shit. After seeing the AI work and pinpointing where she used your art. So overall, like pretty positive response and a lot of people coming out to support her. But this thread has seemed to have caught wind of the anti AI crowd as well. And there's some pretty funny comments down here. It's getting pretty gross. Brandon throws his hat in the ring and says, angry calligraphers crying about the printing press. Obviously trying to insinuate that it's just a natural progression, that this job is getting replaced, the creative one. In that response, if you had a skill that anyone wanted, you might understand. A common sentiment from people who are pro AI and taking artist jobs is always that it's just a natural progression. But at what point do we say it's time to stop? Sure, we could probably have tech take over literally every single job. We have the intellectual capability to allow that to happen. Sure, we could do. But at what point do we stop? Right? If art is created by people who use machines to generate output instead of, making these things themselves, what happens to the culture? Where does culture go from this point? I find that to be very interesting and also kind of horrifying. Since AI just takes what it can scrape online, where does the creativity go after a few years when AI only has AI to pull from, right? If you eliminate human creativity, there's literally nothing left. Blakers also jumped in with a high IQ input. I dig holes. My friend wanted me to dig a hole, but then they got a shovel and dig it themselves. He did that wrong. That's okay. Shovels are evil because my experience and perspective is all that is relevant. First off, that perspective is wrong and stupid. If we're gonna use your horrible analogy, they had a hole. They had a dream of making a hole so deep together that it was going to be shown all over the world. This hole. This is terrible. Then this is your fault. They wanted to dig this hole together and they needed each other. Her friend didn't approach her to say, I want you to dig this hole. They said, let's dig a hole together. Are you getting this? Are we picking it up? Now, 10 years later, she comes back and says, whatever happened to that hole we were supposed to dig together. That would have been so fun and so satisfying to complete something together. You see the word together that I'm using? Anyway, she reaches out to her friend and says, I just hired a construction team to do it myself. And it's like, okay, you could do that. She can do that. I'm not saying she couldn't do it, but it's fucking weird. So you were never interested in digging the hole with me in the first place. You just wanted the hole. Anyway, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Blakers. That was a good 2 minutes of content you helped me pump out there. Spaghetticos just says, your art sucks though. What? What? Meme Sandwich said, why do you feel like you were entitled to creating this project? Call the Wambulance. Punished Mythos Masonry. I'm noticing a pattern with the anti-AI names, but I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks here. Mythos Masonry says, doesn't seem like you ever saw this person as a friend and only as a secure employer to whose money you felt entitled to. Hit it. Oh my goodness. Mythos Masonry turning the tables on Alice. Mark Schmidt says, I used to garden for someone for free, but then they got a tractor. Tractors are evil. Who uses a tractor in their garden? By the way, there's just such a weird narrative where some people are so hurt and so divided by being pro AI that the second someone is genuinely hurt because of whatever it is, a bad person or AI, if AI is involved, suddenly that other person is a horrible person. I don't get it. I don't understand where all this pain comes from, but I think AI has given people who were not either good at art or have some sort of subconscious pang in their side from whatever their creative processes. Maybe they've never been able to achieve their creative processes. I think being able to do it with the click of a button, deep down, some people that use AI, I think there's still something there. I can't talk today. Yonder says, you pretentious pricks constantly trash and mock AI with arrogance, and yet deep down you know they threaten your career. I don't think it's deep down. I think it's not deep down at all, dude. It's straight up like this girl lost her career to someone who, to be fair, probably just didn't want to pay her in the first place. But AI gives these creators who don't want to pay artists an avenue to not pay anyone. And hand in hand, that does remove artists' jobs. I don't think it's like a deep down thing. I think people are complaining about this on the surface. Every piece you create by hand will merely become just another data. Oh my God. All right, Galactus. Anyway, then it's just the further you go down, the deeper into the septic zone of anti-AI sentiment goes. I've noticed that there's not really any helpful conversations things that happen deeper down here. It's more of like a haha, you suck, it sucks to be you, I hate artists kind of thing. It's a really weird sentiment that really has started popping up in the past few years with AI coming up. I didn't really realize people hated people that make art this much. I feel like that's if you're watching this video and this is upsetting you the way I'm reacting to this, I think there's deep down something that you probably need to address. If people that can make art and that do it at a high level are getting replaced and that makes you happy, there's something going on, man. There's something going on there. I genuinely think that. When it comes down to what we have contributed to everything as a human race, I think technology is probably the worst part of it. I think art is the best part of it. And that's where I'll always stand. So I think people who are thinking that they're overreacting or that this is a good thing, I think let me just put it out there and say it right now, you are a fucking moron. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about today. I'm done.